Now, the whole key to this is, with the new assembly, it's set up, you want to go for these two holes right here. Once you get everything kind of lined up, you can reach in there, start getting the bolt holes where they were. Now, sometimes you don't get that luxury when it's all not working, so that's why we had to fight it out. But going back in, this is your goal right here for the bolts, to attach the regulator and assembly to the window. So let's go ahead and get it lined up and bolt it up. Now if you have a problem getting your bolt into the hole, you can put a little bit of grease on it, put it in the socket, put it up where it's got to go. Now we're going to just get this roughly in right now. Got one more to go. Alright, now once that's there, then you have to work the rest of the stuff back into place. Then we have to still have to check for the adjustment. On the old one, it looks like it was adjusted far to the right. So let's go ahead and adjust it back roughly in the same spot. Scoot the regulator over, retighten. Alright, next step is getting that to line up in the door. And right about there, get your next bolt ready. You always want to put it back in the same spot that you see the bolt holes. Makes things 10 times easier. Now, if you remember correctly, we had these other two. We had to roughly put the bolts in, pretty much help line it up. That way it holds that piece and makes it a little bit easier to adjust down below. We got two more bolts and we'll tighten everything up. Before we do anything, we'll roughly test the switch out window, make sure everything works up before we button everything together. Now pretty much everything's lined up the way it's supposed to go. So also I will say this, before you get jumping into doing this, you can always test your switch and make sure your switch is doing what it's supposed to do, and make sure you don't have a blown fuse, because this is a lot of work if it's a blown fuse. So you always want to check that stuff first. Fuses are the first things you check, switches second, make sure everything's plugged in. So next step, we're going to go and plug this back in, and then we're going to go and tighten the rest of the motor too. Alright, everything is already tightened up where it's supposed to be. And unfortunately, the way Honda does this, you'd think they'd make it easier so you can get this on and off. So next up, we can go ahead and plug in the switches on the door panel, and we're going to test it out real quick. Here's that little switch I was telling you about right here. I take a little flathead screwdriver, I push on the bottom, and I pull the lever out. That's for your door handle up top. And once that cable's out of the way, which just sits right back here, you won't be able to see it when the camera's in there, so I was just showing you. So we're going to go ahead and plug in and see if everything is working, and then we'll start putting things back together. The little plug goes up in the front, the bigger plug goes in the back. Once they're plugged in, we should have window. Alright, as you see, everything's working good. Doing exactly what it's supposed to. So we're going to go ahead and put the upper door latch back on, get that done, and start putting the door back together. Pretty much all you do is the opposite of the other, and you're just going to snap it into place. Goes down in the hole, and it clips back on. Once it's clipped on, put it back over on the other part. Clips in, and then we're going to go ahead and stick it up. Tilt that down. Right. Once that sits in place where it's supposed to be, we can start snapping it back in. I have the screw right here to put back in, and two up top. Put in your little cover, put that back into place. Screws right here. Snap your upper piece in right here. And that is your window motor changed on your 2003 Honda Accord. So I hope that helps you guys, and I'll catch you on the next Honda How To. 1159 videos out.